This barrel's for me.
Toe sucking. Who was this and just why?
It's 1992. Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, and Prince Andrew had been divorced for a few months, and Fergie rents a place in the south of France as she took her financial advisor, John Bryan, with her. And not only that, but a pap found them and took photos.
It turns out Sarah Ferguson has just blindsided everyone. After weeks of whispers claiming she was packing her bags for a fresh life in Portugal, the former Duchess has quietly made a decision that nobody saw coming.
Stripped Andrew of his HRH status and his public duties, and effectively he was a pariah publicly anyway. It would have been impossible for him to conduct royal duties on behalf of the family. And the king has taken it further and stripped him of private funding in a bid to kind of smoke him out of Royal Lodge.
And the person at the center of this twist isn't Princess Eugenie, the daughter everyone expected to take her in, but the one who avoids chaos at all cost, Princess Beatrice. One minute, Fergie was supposedly preparing to vanish into a luxury villa with ocean views and zero scrutiny. The next, reports emerged of a sudden renovation happening on Beatrice's private estate in the Cotswolds, complete with fresh stonework, new gutters, and a suspicious delivery of propane gas bottles in the middle of winter. Neighbors say the road was even blocked. Something or someone is moving in. And no, it's not some distant relative, a new staff member, or hired help.
Is it right to say the public purse is missing money from the rent he's allegedly not paid?
Well, I don't have the details of that, and I haven't seen and had a chance to go through that information.
The timing is too perfect. The work was too expensive. The upgrades were too specific. Everything points to one answer. Fergie isn't escaping the UK at all. She's planting herself right back in the heart of the royal orbit. But why would she make a move that keeps her dangerously close to a family that has already tried to shove her out? And more importantly, why is Beatrice, the quiet, careful, scandal-free daughter, suddenly opening her door to the most unpredictable woman in royal headlines? Whatever is happening here, it isn't about comfort, privacy, or family love.
The happiest divorced couple, as they describe themselves. She describes herself as being divorced to rather than divorced from him. I've heard her say on multiple occasions what a kind man he is, what a good father, what a good grandfather. But I think what's controversial in these comments is what she says about him being able to come out of the spotlight and get on with his life, because
it looks a lot more like strategy, and the palace knows it. Because this U-turn could either save Sarah Ferguson or unleash a disaster the royals can't control. But first, let's unravel the escape plan that was supposed to happen and why it suddenly vanished. Just days ago, every headline swore that Sarah Ferguson was preparing to disappear. Her destination? A luxury $3.6 million villa in Portugal. Sunlight, privacy, ocean views, and a freshly prepared room reportedly waiting for her courtesy of Princess Eugenie.
I have someone a patron for charities that are helping children, and this patron is openly friends with a known paedophile, and she knew he was a paedophile by that point. Makes me want to vomit.
I mean, there are certain things you can recover from, JJ, right? We had a prince that was involved in tampon.
The story sounded flawless. Fergie escaping scandal, slipping away from the mess at Windsor, and beginning a new life far from palace control. Everyone believed it because it made too much sense. With Prince Andrew stripped of titles, funding, and every shred of royal dignity he had left, Sarah had been swept out with him. No official role, no home, no title. For the first time since the 1980s, she was facing life without a royal roof over her head. Portugal seemed like the perfect solution. A clean break, a safe distance, a soft landing. Royal insiders whispered that she was packing. Reporters claimed she was bracing for a fresh start.
British tabloids have published emails sent by the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, the former wife of Prince Andrew, that appear to show Sarah Ferguson thanking pedophile disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein for their, quote, supreme friendship. The significance of that.
Paparazzi were ready. Portugal was waiting. It was all set up to look like a one-way ticket out of Britain. But looking back, it feels almost too perfect, like it was meant to be seen, like someone wanted the public to believe she was fleeing. Because while the whole world stared at Portugal, something very different was happening back home in the Cotswolds. A door was opening, but not the one anyone expected. The Portugal plan, it turns out, may have been a distraction, a smokescreen, a decoy. While every camera pointed toward Eugenie's villa, the real story was quietly being built, stone by stone, at Beatrice's estate. And once you see who Beatrice really is, that decoy plan starts to look incredibly strategic. Let's talk about the daughter who avoids chaos, yet is stepping right into the eye of it. If you look at the York sisters side by side, one stands boldly in the spotlight and the other stays quietly in the shadows. Eugenie is the extrovert, social, open, emotional, living between London, Ibiza, and Portugal. She embraces attention. She understands the media. She's used to noise. Beatrice is the opposite, reserved, controlled, calculated. She avoids headlines like they're landmines. While her parents spent decades ricocheting from one scandal to another, Beatrice built a life protected by silence. She rarely comments, rarely reacts, and never steps into drama unless she is forced. So why in the world would she, of all people, invite her mother, the royal chaos magnate, into her personal estate? Because Beatrice isn't just the quiet daughter. She is the buffer, the mediator, the one who has spent her whole life keeping the family's internal fires from exploding in public. She is the only person who can both comfort Sarah and calm the palace. Sources have said for years that she's closer to her mother than people realize. She's the steady one, the sensible one, the strong stomach in a family full of scandal fatigue. Beatrice is the one who knows exactly when to speak and exactly when to stay silent. And that silence might now be the most powerful tool the palace has. Because letting Fergie run off to Portugal gives her freedom. Freedom to talk. Freedom to spill. Freedom to make mistakes, the kind that explode on television. But keeping her near Beatrice, that gives access. Influence. Supervision. A way to monitor every word, every meeting, every move. Think about it. Beatrice doesn't start drama, but she knows how to contain it. So when the mysterious renovation starts, when propane bottles arrive, when roads are blocked so workers can finish the annex, it's not about comfort. It's not about family coming together, it looks far more like containment. As if Beatrice isn't just welcoming her mother, she's managing her. And if that's true, then it raises a much bigger question. What exactly are they trying to stop Sarah Ferguson from saying? Because someone is terrified of her talking, especially right now. When the renovation news leaked, royal insiders didn't focus on tiles, paintwork, or propane tanks. They focused on something far more dangerous. Sarah Ferguson might finally start talking. Multiple sources claim Fergie has been in discussions with major US broadcasters for a six-figure tell-all interview. A full sit-down. Cameras rolling, microphones on. And no handlers, no palace lawyers, no royal scriptwriters feeding her safe answers. And that is terrifying. Why? Because the last time someone from this family decided to clear the air on television, Prince Andrew produced the single biggest royal disaster of the century. One interview destroyed him. One conversation torched what was left of his reputation, his titles, and any public respect he once had. Now imagine Fergie doing the same, but worse. Unlike Andrew, she doesn't calculate every word. She overshares, she rambles, she reacts emotionally, she blurts. She has no title left to lose, no position to protect, no status to preserve. She speaks the way she feels, and feelings don't respect palace strategy. That's the danger. Not what she knows, but how she says it. One unfiltered sentence on US television could trigger a meltdown. One emotional story could reopen royal wounds. One careless reference to the Epstein fallout could drag the monarchy right back into global humiliation. So if Fergie moves to Portugal, thousands of miles away, there is zero control. But if she lives on Beatrice's estate, just a short drive from Windsor, the palace suddenly has something they desperately need: proximity. They can check in, they can warn her, they can advise her. They can make sure nothing slips before a camera turns on. Keeping Fergie close isn't kindness, it's damage control. Beatrice's home becomes less of a family sanctuary and more of a royal quarantine, a way to contain information before it leaks. And that tells us something explosive. The palace is more scared of Sarah Ferguson's words than Sarah Ferguson's actions. But while they're trying to control her, there's someone else who suddenly doesn't want anything to do with her. The man she defended for decades. For more than 3 decades, Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew sold themselves as the royal world's strangest success story. The happiest divorced couple in Britain, they laughed. Two exes who lived together, vacationed together, shared expenses, defended each other, and insisted it was all perfectly normal. That weird, loyal arrangement became part of their identity, a united front against the world. But behind the palace doors, that front is now crumbling. Insiders claim Andrew has become cold, distant, and furious. Humiliated by his downfall, stripped of everything, and facing a public that sees him as toxic, he reportedly demanded space from the one person who spent years protecting him, Fergie. He's shutting her out, and she's spiraling. Sources say she's distraught, privately shaken, and drinking heavily. Decades of loyalty now feel like wasted devotion. For years, she carried the burden, defended him publicly, and stayed by his side through scandal after scandal. But in the end, she's the one losing her home. She's the one with no title. She's the one facing scrutiny. She's the one the palace wants to monitor. And Andrew, he wants distance. The united, cozy partnership that baffled the public may finally be collapsing. Sarah appears to be blaming him. Andrew refuses responsibility for anything. And for the first time in their chaotic history, the bond that held them together is breaking. Now, if Fergie moves into Beatrice's estate, it won't be as part of a power couple. It will be as a woman alone, with no protection, no royal husband to hide behind, and no castle to call home. And that makes her even more unpredictable, because when someone has nothing left to lose, that's when they become the most dangerous. Not dangerous in action, dangerous in speech. The palace can manage a duchess. It cannot manage a woman who's hurt, betrayed, and ready to tell her side, especially one who knows where the skeletons are buried. This move is not about love, loyalty, or a mother finding shelter with her daughter. It's about positioning. It's about control. It's about keeping one of the most unpredictable women in royal history within arm's reach. By planting herself on Princess Beatrice's estate, Sarah Ferguson gets exactly what she wants: visibility. She refuses to be forgotten, refuses to be shipped abroad, refuses to fade into royal exile. Portugal would have buried her story. Britain puts her right at the center of it. She wants eyes on her. She wants access. She wants attention before that possible U.S. interview becomes a reality. And the palace? They get something too. Not affection, not approval, surveillance. With Fergie nearby, they can watch her, influence her, nudge her, warn her. They can keep tabs on every meeting, every phone call, every deal. If she's living thousands of miles away, there's no containment, no control, no damage prevention. So this isn't a rescue, it's a compromise. A strategic stalemate between a woman who refuses to go quietly and a monarchy terrified of what she might say next. Beatrice becomes the middle ground. Her home becomes the holding cell, not a punishment, but a precaution. It's the place where the royal family hopes Sarah will feel heard, valued, and therefore quiet enough to prevent a televised explosion. But there's one thing they can't control. Hurt people don't stay quiet forever. Fergie has been stripped of her home, her title, her reputation, and the man she defended for decades. She owes the monarchy nothing. She fears nothing. And that makes her more powerful and more dangerous than ever. If she speaks, she won't speak as a duchess trying to save face. She'll speak as a woman with nothing left to lose. And that's the interview every network wants, and the one the palace dreads. The next chapter isn't about where Sarah Ferguson sleeps, it's about whether she stays silent or finally opens the door that everyone has tried to keep shut. Because if she talks, the royal family won't just have another scandal, they'll have a wildfire. To get the next update, hit subscribe because what comes next may be louder than anything Sarah Ferguson has ever done.